Good day, everyone. Welcome to Basic Research class. Our topic for today is about nature and characteristics of educational research. The topics in this chapter are the following: definition of educational research, purposes and functions of educational research, characteristics of a good research, and the role of theory in research. The intended learning outcomes in these lessons are the following: to define research, to discuss the general and specific purposes of educational research, to describe the characteristics of good research, and to understand the role of theory in research. Let's start with the definition of educational research. According to the Department of Education and Training, research is defined as the creation of new knowledge and or the use of existing knowledge in a new and creative way, so as to generate new concepts, methodologies, and understanding. Hampshire College defined research as a process of systematic inquiry that entails collection of data, documentation of critical information, and analysis and interpretation of that data or information in accordance with the suitable methodologies set by specific professional fields and academic disciplines. Some definition of terms are explicated on by the following. Okay, so we have, according to Good, educational research is the study and investigation in the field of education. Monroe defined as the final purpose of educational research is to ascertain principles and develop procedures for use in the field of education. Mole stated that any systematic study designed to promote the development of education as a science can be considered educational research. J.W. Best defined educational research is the activity which is directed towards development of a science of behavior in educational situations. The ultimate aim of such science is to provide knowledge that will permit the educator to achieve his goals by the most effective methods. On the other hand, W.M. Travers defined educational research as that activity which is directed towards the development of science of behavior in educational research. So, educational research has nothing but cleansing of educational research cleansing of educational process. Many experts think educational research as under, first, according to Mule, educational research is a systematic application of scientific method for solving educational problem. Travers also thinks that educational research is the activity for developing science of behavior in educational situations. It allows the educator to achieve his goals effectively. According to Whitney, educational research aims at finding out solutions of educational problems by using scientific philosophical methods. Thus, educational research is to solve educational problems in a scientific manner. It is to understand, explain, predict, and control human behavior. So, what are the purpose and functions of educational research? Let's say, for example, from weather forecasts to the discovery of antibiotics, researchers are constantly trying to find new ways to understand the world and how things work, with the ultimate goal of improving our lives. Now, the purpose of research is therefore to find out what is known and what is not known and what can be developed further. In this way, scientists can develop new theories, ideas, and products that shape our society and our everyday lives. Now, the purpose of research is to further understand the world and to learn how this knowledge can be applied to a better everyday life. It is an integral part of problem solving. There are research can take in many forms. So there are three main purposes of research. First, we have the exploratory research. It is the first research to be conducted around a problem that has not yet been clearly defined. Exploration research therefore aims to gain a better understanding of the exact nature of the problem and not to provide a conclusive answer to the problem itself. This enables us to conduct more in-depth research later on. Alright, so the second is descriptive research. Descriptive research expands knowledge of a research problem or phenomenon by describing it according to its characteristics in the population. Descriptive research focuses on the how and what, but not on the whys. Third, we have the explanatory research, also referred to as the causal research, is conducted to determine how variables interact. For example, to identify cause and effect relationships. Explanatory research deals with the why of the research questions and is therefore often based on experiments. So, these research purposes are to be foresee future problems through pursuit of truth as a global center of excellence for intellectual creativity, to respond to current social demands and to contribute to the creation and development of scientific technologies with the aim of realizing an affluent society and natural environment for humanity. So let's try to look more about important purposes as mentioned by Rafidi. First is to find out retention, for example, dropout, the truth regarding enrollment, quality of education, among others. It also suggested that build new knowledge regarding the pedagogy, methodology, or other core subject areas. It also identified in adding existing stock of knowledge related to the field of education. Solve a problem related to the administrative level, classroom, institution, or policy level. The invention of new teaching methods, curriculum transaction strategies, effective grouping techniques, and so on and so forth. Then realizing the exact problem of education sector and assessing the effect of new methods of teaching. Also, I explicated that it identify and assess the ICT classroom teaching to understand the teacher's knowledge of the latest evaluation techniques, to identify the hindrances of achieving universalization of education. Alright. So, purpose of education, educational research. The primary purpose of educational research is to expand the existing body of knowledge by providing solutions to different problems in pedagogy while improving teaching and learning practices. In educational researchers also seek answers to questions bothering or on learner motivation, development, and classroom management. The definition and interpretations of educational research agree in their common assertion that educational research involves an application of the main principles of scientific research to the solution of educational research or problems. In the words of Corey, and I quote, better education means better development and formulation of instructional aims, better motivation of pupils, better teaching methods, and better evaluation, and better supervisions and administrations. End quote. Now, what are the major functions of research? This is from an article shared by Anika Sharma. Okay. So we have first is it obtains the scientist's knowledge about all educational problems. Second, in action research, the researcher The researchers are actually teachers, curriculum workers, principals, supervisors, or others whose main task is to help provide good learning experiences for pupils. Another one is a person tries to enable him to realize his purposes more effectively. Okay, let's talk about characteristics of a good research. Okay. So, what are those? First, good research is anchored on a sound research question. So what does this mean? A sound research question is one of the most important characteristics of good research. In 2010, Kuroji and others proposed that developing a research question is the most important step in doing a research project. A good research question details exactly what a researcher wants to learn and defines a study scope. By formulating a good research question, researchers can ensure that they stay on track during the course of their study. In most cases, the research questions influences the rest of the steps the researcher takes during his or her study as well. However, the formulation of research question is often easier said than done. Such numerous frameworks like the FINER or FINER and PICO or PICO criteria have been invented to help researchers formulate sound research questions. For instance, Cumming and others in 2013 suggest the FINER criteria to create or evaluate research questions. According to this set of criteria, a good research question is, for F, it should be feasible, I, interesting, N, novel, E, ethical, and R, relevant. Alright, second, a good research follows a systematic, appropriate research methodology. The overall quality and success of a research study are largely determined by the research methodology. Choosing an appropriate research methodology helps ensure that researchers can collect relevant data and use the right data analysis methods. Research methodologies refers to the systematic procedures or techniques a researcher uses to ensure that his study achieve valid and reliable results, according to Jensen and Warren 2020. Research methodologies are often classified into qualitative research, and mixed method research. So what is qualitative research methodology? It involves collecting and analyzing non-numerical data, anything that cannot be measured. That's qualitative research, such as language to interpret subjects' beliefs, experiences, and behaviors. That's according to Patak and others in 2013. Qualitative research techniques includes interviews, conducting focus group discussions, observations, field notes, and case studies. Quantitative research methodologies involves the collection and analysis of numerical data to discover patterns, test relationships, and make predictions. That's according to Bandari in 2021. In doing quantitative research, surveys, experiments, and systematic observations can be used to collect accurate data. Now, for mixed methods research methodologies, it combines qualitative and quantitative methods. Now, according to Wisdom and Criswell 2013, combining qualitative and quantitative research methodologies permit a more complete and synergistic utilization of data than do separate qualitative and quantitative data collection and analysis. So, researchers must consider a variety of factors in choosing the best methodology for their study. In most cases, research questions and objectives play a significant role in defining the most appropriate research methodology to use. Okay, third, Good research acknowledges previous research on the topic. You say conducting literature review. Okay, while good research leads to the discovery of new knowledge, it is also means studying previous research on the topic. By studying scholarly articles and other works related to your subjects of interest, you may get an idea of what has already been studied and how your study fits into existing research. Exploring previous research can also ensure that you are not duplicating existing work. Related literature can also shed light on potential obstacles and issues researchers may encounter during their studies. Given the importance of studying research related to one's topic, most academic research projects like thesis and dissertation feature a literature review. A literature review describes and objectively evaluates scholarly articles, books, and other sources relevant to a particular field of study, helping readers gain a full understanding to the topic at hand, according to Bloomberg University of Pennsylvania. Fourth, good research uses relevant empirical data and proper data analysis methods. Alright, one of the most important qualities of a good research study is that it deals with empirical data. Empirical data is data that has been collected by researchers themselves through observations, experiences, or experimentations, according to Bradford in 2017. This is crucial in doing good research because empirical data is considered objective, unbiased evidence. Good research doesn't stop with the collection of empirical data. The data collected must be analyzed properly as well. The type of data collected largely determines the right data analysis methods to use. Fourth, good research is representative and generalizable. Criteria of good research includes being representative. In research, representativeness refers to the sample's ability to represent a larger group. This means the characteristics of the subjects, for example, the people being studied closely match those of the study's large target populations, according to Austin research in 2014. In most cases, representativeness can be achieved through population sampling, according to economic research and social council, by using proper methods to create a representative sample. Researchers can ensure that their findings can be generalized to the larger population represented. Number 6. Good research is guided by logic. One of the distinguishing characteristics of research is that the entire process is guided by logic. Using logic, for instance, can help researchers determine what kind of data they need for answering their research questions. Being guided by logic throughout the research process also helps researchers spot fallacies and inconsistencies in their claim and findings. Aside from these applications of logic, logical reasoning can also make more research more meaningful, especially if the research is to be used in the context of decision making, according to Mehran University of Technology and Engineering and Technology. Alright, number 7. Good research has external validity. Good research has external validity if its results or findings can be applied to the real world, according to Glenn in 2015. If your research findings can be generalized to other situations or applied to a broader context, your study has high external validity. Since generalizable knowledge is almost always the aim of scientific research, external validity is an important component of good research as well. Number 8. Good research is replicable, reproducible, and transparent. Replicability, reproducibility, and transparency are some of the most important characteristics of research. The replicability of a research study is important because this allows other researchers to test the study's findings. Replicability can also improve the trustworthiness of a research findings among others. That's according to Understanding of Research in 2020. Good research is also reproducible. Through replicability and reproducibility are often used interchangeably. Research is reproducible if researchers achieve consistent results using the same data and analysis methods, according to Michelle in 2019. The reproducibility and replicability of a research study and its findings can confirm the study's overall validity and credibility. For research to be replicable or reproducible, it must also be transparent or available to other researchers. Research must be written or presented in such a way that it provides comprehensive details on how data was collected and analyzed and how conclusions were reached according to Baskin belief. This is why most scholarly articles provide clear description of their corresponding research process. Alright. Number 9. Good research knowledge acknowledge its limitations and provide suggestions for future research. In addition to information on data collection and analysis methods, good research also opens doors to future research on the topic. For instance, researchers can provide details on unexpected study findings or suggest techniques for exploring unaddressed aspects of your research problem or research questions. In many cases, these suggestions for future research stem from the researchers' limitations. Researchers must acknowledge their study's limitations and potential flaws and present these along with the study's findings and conclusion. Ross and Zaid in 2019 further explain that a meaningful presentation of a research study's limitation includes implications of these limitations and potential alternative approaches. Number 10. Good research is ethical. Understandably, good research is carried out according to research ethics. According to the World Health Organization, WHO, research ethics provide standards of conducting for scientific researchers. These standards help protect the right and dignity of research participants while ensuring that researchers practice values such as honesty, objectivity, integrity, and accountability in their work. It's according to Wisnak in 2020. Wisnak also emphasizes the importance of learning how to interpret and apply various ethical standards in research, especially since existing ethical codes won't cover every situation. Some of the most common violations of research ethics includes falsifications. This involves the manipulation or omission of data or findings. Another one is fabrication. This involves making up data or results and presenting this as accurate. And finally, plagiarism. This refers to the use of other person's work without giving due credit. So the role of theory in research. According to Oxford Dictionary in 2018, a system of ideas formulated with intention to explain a certain phenomenon. Theory is defined by its ability to explain why certain things happen or why certain things do not happen, as well as provide a framework that we base our actions accordingly. Alright, so the role of theory in research. Theories actually provide predictions and explanations, as well as guidelines for actions and behaviors. Theories provide the underlying logic of the occurrence of natural or social phenomena by explaining what are the key drivers and key outcomes of the target phenomenon, and why and what underlying processes are responsible driving that phenomenon. Prediction and understanding are the two purposes of theory. Accomplishing the first goal allows the theorist to predict behavior or characteristics of one phenomenon from the knowledge of another phenomenon's characteristics. In most of the situation, prediction and understanding the process go hand in hand. To predict the phenomenon, we must have an explanation of why variables behave as they do. Theories provide these explanations. Second, theories guide research and organize its ideas. They aid in sensing making by helping us synthesize prior empirical findings within a theoretical framework and reconcile contradictory findings by discovering contingent factors influencing the relationship between two constructs in different studies. Theory helps direct research. It helps us to help filter which data is relevant to the study and which data is not. Third, contribute to the cumulative knowledge of bridging gaps or causing re-evaluation of phenomena. Theories does not stand alone. It builds on other work that's out there. Other things that have been established, decided and understood by a particular phenomenon, so that we can now test those and we can build new theories that will help us bridge gaps or reevaluate what we thought we knew. Theories help us build frameworks to develop schools of thoughts and formulate ideologies. Ideologies becomes a lens of understanding of how we view the world. Fourth, theories have the capacity to generate new research. Now, if you have a theory that is explaining why a particular phenomenon happens, it can also help you understand what are some of the constructs or factors, what are some of the relationships that are out there that are relevant for that particular phenomenon that might need to be investigated further. In other words, it provides a platform and a network for research. Okay, so in this lesson, the topics that we talked about are the following: definition of educational research, purposes and functions of educational research, characteristics of a good research, and the role of theory in research. So these are the references. Thank you very much. That ends part 1 of this lesson.